There comes a moment in every creator's life where the invisible begins to press against the edges of the visible, where the unseen starts moving so close that you can almost feel it breathing with you. And if you've been feeling this shift lately, this strange pull, this heightened awareness, this quiet intensity, you are not imagining it. Something is forming. Something is shaping itself around you. Something you once held only in imagination is preparing to walk into your physical world. There is a tension that rises before every breakthrough. Not the tension of fear, but the tension of birth. It shows up as restlessness, as a sudden sensitivity to your thoughts, as a deeper instinct guiding you without explanation. It shows up as a knowing that refuses to be ignored. When your manifestation is on the verge of becoming physical, life starts rearranging itself in ways you cannot logically track. People shift. Conversations change. Even your inner dialogue begins to sound like it belongs to a higher, wiser version of you. You may feel detached from things you once cared about. This is not loss. This is alignment. You may feel called to spend more time alone. This is not isolation, this is preparation. You may notice signs repeating themselves, numbers showing up, ideas resurfacing, pieces falling into place in perfect order. These are not coincidences, these are confirmations. Your desire is not outside of you. It is inside you, pressing to be expressed. When you imagine something so clearly that your body feels the reality of it, you have already touched it in the unseen world. And what is touched there must eventually take form here, because imagination is not a fantasy. Imagination is the blueprint. When the blueprint becomes active, your outer world begins catching up. You do not need to chase. You do not need to force. You simply need to allow. If lately you've been feeling a gentle pressure to think higher, to believe deeper, to detach quicker, it's because the old version of you is dissolving. The version that doubted, that feared, that questioned whether you were worthy, that version cannot follow you into the world you are manifesting. So it falls away. And as it falls away, you may feel moments of discomfort, moments of confusion, moments that make no sense. But these moments are signals. They are indicators that the invisible is becoming physical. When manifestations are close, the inner world becomes louder than the outer world. Your intuition sharpens. Your emotions become more vivid. Your dreams carry messages. Your mind drifts toward the reality you desire even when you're not trying. This is not accident. This is alignment. You are merging with the version of you who already has what you want. And when this merging happens, reality bends, paths open, obstacles dissolve, opportunities appear in places you never looked before. You start feeling an unexplainable certainty. Certainty not based on evidence, but on resonance. Something in you recognizes that what you want is no longer a future possibility, it is a present inevitability. If you've been feeling these shifts, then understand this clearly. You are not waiting for your manifestation. Your manifestation is waiting for you. It is already formed, already complete, already alive in the unseen dimension. All you're doing now is tuning yourself to the frequency where it must appear. You don't manifest by forcing the outer world. You manifest by becoming the one who naturally receives what you desire. Feel the reality. Live in the assumption. Claim the identity. Let the outer world rearrange itself around your inner conviction. If life feels different lately, if you feel yourself changing, if the old no longer fits, then you are not losing your path. You are stepping onto it. Your manifestation is coming into focus. It is coming into form. It is coming into your physical reality because you have already accepted it within. What you have felt in imagination is already yours, and what is yours cannot miss you. Your only task now is to keep aligning, keep allowing, keep knowing. The shift you feel is the evidence. The rest is inevitable. When the unseen begins to solidify, it does not announce itself with loud signs or dramatic changes. It approaches quietly, like a sunrise. First there is darkness, then a soft glow, then a subtle shift in the air that only the attuned can detect. And you, whether you realize it or not, have become attuned. You have become sensitive to the energy you once ignored. You have become responsive to the inner nudges you used to dismiss. You have become aware of the subtle movements of your own consciousness. This awareness is not accidental. It is the first sign that the inner world is preparing to express itself outwardly. There is a rhythm you are beginning to understand, a rhythm that speaks not in words but in impressions, not in logic but in feeling. When you feel yourself being pulled towards something without reason, trust that pull. When you feel yourself being pushed away from something without explanation, trust that push. This is the silent choreography of manifestation. It is the unseen arranging the scene. It is the future reaching backward into the present, shaping it moment by moment. Every desire you hold has a corresponding version of you who already lives in that reality. And lately, you've been brushing up against that version more frequently. You might sense flashes of confidence that feel foreign yet familiar. You might experience moments of clarity so sharp they almost shock you. You might feel sudden bursts of intuition, creativity, or courage that seem to appear out of nowhere. These are not random. They are glimpses of your fulfilled self appearing in your awareness, drawing you into alignment. When an inner shift is happening, the outer world cannot remain static. Circumstances must shift. Patterns must break. People must appear or disappear. Opportunities must adjust themselves to the identity you are stepping into. And while these changes may feel uncertain or uncomfortable, they are perfectly in order. Nothing that collapses during this process was meant to survive. Nothing that leaves your experience was part of the reality you are creating. Nothing that remains unshaken is out of alignment with your desire. Everything is reorganizing, even the pieces you cannot yet see. In these moments when the invisible starts turning visible, you may notice a peculiar sensation, a sense that something is coming. You cannot describe it. You cannot point to evidence. Yet you feel it rising within you like a tide. It comes in waves, a deep calm, a profound knowing, a strange excitement, a whisper telling you to hold on a little longer. This sensation is the echo of your desire reaching you from the unseen realm. It is the signal that your creation is complete internally and merely awaiting physical expression. There may also be moments where you feel an unexpected heaviness, not because things are going wrong, but because old patterns are being uprooted. When you ask for something new, your consciousness begins clearing space. This clearing can bring forgotten emotions to the surface. It can make you feel detached, introspective, or even tired. Do not misinterpret this. The soil must loosen for new seeds to grow. Your mind must empty for new thoughts to take root. Your energy must shift for new outcomes to align with you. The universe removes certain things before delivering what you asked for. Not as punishment, but as preparation. Sometimes the delays you perceive are actually divine timing aligning flawlessly behind the scenes. Sometimes the quiet days, the slow weeks, the still moments are the exact environment needed for your desire to crystallize in the unseen before it appears in the seen. Manifestation is not always loud. Often it is gentle. Often it is silent. Often it is happening in ways you will only understand later. You may notice recently that random thoughts about your desire appear throughout the day, not with desperation, but with familiarity. This familiarity is a sign that you are internalizing the reality of it. When something feels normal in your imagination, it is already forming in your experience. The extraordinary becomes ordinary first within, then without. What once felt distant now feels close. What once felt impossible now feels reasonable. What once felt foreign now feels like home. That shift in feeling is one of the clearest indicators that physical manifestation is near. You might also feel a sense of detachment, not the careless kind, but the peaceful kind. The detachment that comes from knowing rather than hoping, from expecting rather than needing, from claiming rather than chasing. This release of pressure is not you giving up, it is you stepping into true power. Because the moment you stop grasping, the moment you stop doubting, the moment you stop watching the clock, the manifestation begins speeding toward you. Detachment is not the absence of desire, it is the acceptance of fulfillment. If you have recently been flooded with ideas, insights, or inner directives, write this, speak that, go here, stop doing this. These are instructions from the version of you who already has what you want. You are not imagining it. The path is not random. These nudges are breadcrumbs leading you toward alignment. Follow them. Trust them. Even when they make no logical sense, even when they seem too simple or too subtle, follow them. The unseen often speaks in whispers long before it speaks in results. There is also a peculiar shift that happens when manifestations are close to the physical world, begins responding to your inner state with uncanny speed. You think of someone and they text you. You imagine an outcome and a hint of it appears within hours or days. You hold a new self-concept and people treat you accordingly without knowing why. This responsiveness is not coincidence. It is evidence that the barrier between imagination and reality has thinned. You are influencing the world with your inner state more powerfully than ever before. When you begin noticing synchronicities, numbers repeating, symbols aligning, circumstances echoing your thoughts, it is not because life is suddenly magical. It is because you are finally aware of the magic that has always been operating. You are tuned in. You are receptive. You are noticing patterns that were previously invisible. Synchronicity is not a sign that something is coming. It is a sign that something has already been created. It is the universe mirroring your inner reality, preparing you to receive the physical outcome. You might catch yourself speaking differently lately, thinking differently, reacting differently. Where you once expressed doubt, you now express possibility. Where you once felt lack, you now feel anticipation. Where you once sought reassurance, you now feel your own power. This shift in identity is not minor. It is the entire manifestation. Because once the identity changes, the world must follow. You cannot embody a new version of yourself and still receive the old reality. Reality bends to identity, not the other way around. As your manifestation nears physical expression, time feels different. Moments stretch, days blend, hours pass quietly. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening on the unseen layers of your consciousness. What you feel as stillness is actually alignment. What you feel as boredom is actually recalibration. What you feel as waiting is actually transition. The bridge between the invisible and the visible is being walked, and each moment is part of the unfolding. Sometimes, right before the manifestation becomes visible, the outer world may appear unchanged or even slightly chaotic. This is similar to the final moments before dawn when the sky looks darkest. It is the phase where the old reality is dissolving completely and the new reality has not yet stepped into view. Do not mistake this period for stagnation. It is the clearing of the stage before the new scene begins. The shift you feel internally is evidence that the outer shift is not far behind. If your emotions have become more sensitive lately, if your intuition has sharpened, if your dreams have intensified, if your awareness has expanded, these are signs of energetic alignment. You are perceiving more than before because you are becoming more than before. Manifestation is not merely about receiving something. It is about becoming someone, a larger vessel, a clearer channel, a higher expression of yourself. Your manifestations are not created through force, effort, or strain. They unfold naturally when your inner state becomes the home of your desire. You do not chase what belongs to you. You simply allow it to appear. Allowing is not passive. It is powerful. It is the energy of someone who knows, someone who trusts, someone who understands that everything desired is already created in consciousness and is merely seeking expression. If you feel a growing sense of peace, even if nothing external has changed, that peace is the forerunner of physical change. It is the sign that the inner work is done. Peace does not come before manifestation. Peace is the manifestation beginning. When your inner world stabilizes, the outer world must reflect that stability. At times, you might catch yourself smiling at the thought of your desire without knowing why. This is your future self reminding you of what is already true. A gentle reassurance rising from the depth of your consciousness. You are closer than you think, closer than you can see, closer than your current circumstances suggest. Because manifestation does not reveal itself until the moment it is ready. The unseen works in silence until the moment it becomes the seen. And if you have felt a shift lately, an undeniable shift, a quiet certainty, a subtle pressure, an energetic rearrangement, then you are not merely hoping for your manifestation. You are standing on the threshold of it. The inner world has completed its part. The physical world is now catching up. Everything is aligning. Everything is converging. Everything is moving toward expression. The invisible is becoming physical, and you are the center of its unfolding. You may notice that your focus has changed lately. Things that once distracted you now seem trivial. Situations that once seemed urgent now feel insignificant. This is not a withdrawal from life. It is a redirection of your energy toward what truly matters. The mind that once scattered itself in fear, doubt, and worry is now learning to concentrate, to align, to sustain a vibration that matches the reality you are calling into being. This focus is a signal that your manifestation is ready to step through the threshold of your awareness and into your life. Even your body begins to feel the shift. Energy flows differently. Rest comes more easily. Certain tasks no longer exhaust you the way they once did. You may notice a subtle increase in vitality, a heightened sense of awareness, a clarity of action. The body is responding to the alignment of consciousness. It is attuning itself to the reality that is about to appear. Every cell begins to resonate with the life you are imagining, and this resonance is more powerful than any external effort could ever be. Your relationships, too, begin to reflect the change. People who were once peripheral or irrelevant start entering your life at the exact moment they are needed. Conversations happen that were previously impossible. Support appears in forms you never expected. Even challenges or resistance that seem to arise are part of this orchestration. They serve as markers, as catalysts, as confirmations that your inner alignment is active and powerful. Do not resist them. Observe them. Receive them. They are a sign that the universe is rearranging itself around the vibration of your fulfilled desire. When a manifestation is close, the mind and heart seem to operate on a higher wavelength. Thoughts that once held you back lose their grip. Doubts that once paralyzed you no longer have power. The imagination, previously just a playground of fantasy, becomes a workshop of creation. You see yourself achieving, being living, and the more vivid that image becomes, the faster the physical world aligns. Every detail you hold clearly, every emotion you feel as real, every sensation you embody accelerates the translation of the invisible into the visible. There is a quiet thrill in knowing that your desire is already yours. It is not yet in the physical realm, but in consciousness it is alive. You can feel it, hear it, even taste it if you allow yourself to fully immerse in it. And this immersion is not indulgence, it is preparation. It is tuning yourself to the frequency of what is coming. The more natural and effortless this immersion feels, the sooner the manifestation steps into reality, because nothing resists that which has been fully received internally. Sometimes, just before the manifestation breaks into physical reality, a subtle fear arises. You may doubt whether you are ready. You may wonder if you deserve it. You may question whether it can truly appear in your life. This fear is natural. It is not a signal of failure. It is a sign that transformation is taking place. Fear indicates that the old identity, the identity that has never experienced this reality, is confronting the new. The tension is necessary, and once you move through it, the final passage into fulfillment is swift and inevitable. You may also notice your environment responding in ways you cannot logically explain. Situations that once seemed stuck begin to move. Doors that were closed begin to open. Circumstances align with uncanny precision. These shifts are the echo of your inner world. The universe is not withholding, it is responding. It is reflecting your internal reality, reshaping the external to match what is already formed within. The closer your inner world matches the reality you desire, the more undeniable these external confirmations become. In these moments, the art of living becomes an art of attention. Whatever you dwell upon, whatever you carry in your imagination, whatever you allow to dominate your feeling, begins to form. You no longer manifest by striving, you manifest by directing attention, by sustaining belief, by feeling the presence of what you desire as if it already exists. This is not wishful thinking, it is the law of creation itself. And when you are conscious of it, when you feel it, when you accept it fully, the manifestation cannot fail. You may notice your dreams taking on a new intensity. Nighttime visions, daydreams, and even fleeting mental images begin to carry significance. Symbols, faces, numbers, and scenarios appear repeatedly, signaling alignment between your inner and outer realities. These dreams are not mere entertainment, they are messages, guides, confirmations. When your manifestation is near, the boundary between waking life and the world of imagination becomes porous. You begin to realize that everything you experience is a reflection of your consciousness, and this awareness gives you unprecedented control over what is yet to appear. Your intuition becomes sharper. Decisions that once felt risky or uncertain now carry clarity. Opportunities that once seemed coincidental now appear as direct pathways. Guidance comes not as loud commands, but as gentle nudges, persistent ideas, and a quiet knowing that you cannot ignore. This intuition is the voice of your future self, the self that already lives in the reality you desire. Following it is not merely wise, it is essential. The closer you align with this inner voice, the faster the manifestation transitions from thought to form. There is also a transformation in the very way you perceive time. Moments stretch and compress according to the rhythm of your focus. Patience is no longer a challenge, it becomes a natural state. You understand that manifestation cannot be rushed by force. It follows its own perfect timing, which is never early, never late, always precisely right. This awareness brings a deep serenity. You are no longer a passive observer. You are an active participant in the creation of your own reality, aware that every second, every thought, every feeling contributes to the unfolding. Your senses may heighten, colors appear brighter, sounds resonate more fully, smells carry meaning. The subtle shifts in your environment, once unnoticed, now carry guidance. This heightened perception is not random, it is a reflection of your expanded awareness. As the manifestation approaches, your consciousness opens to receive signs, signals, and confirmations that were previously invisible. The more open and receptive you are, the clearer the path becomes, and the easier it is to move in harmony with what is forming. You may also experience a newfound confidence in action. Decisions that once felt tentative now feel certain. Initiatives that once felt daunting now feel natural. Steps that once seemed risky now feel aligned. This confidence is not arrogance, it is recognition. Recognition that you are in harmony with your desire, that the energy of the unseen supports you, that the world is responding to the alignment you have cultivated. Action becomes effortless because it is no longer separated from inspiration, from alignment, from knowing. There are moments when you may feel impatient, when you wonder why the outer world has not yet reflected your inner reality. These moments are natural but unnecessary. Impatience does not accelerate manifestation, it creates resistance. The key is to trust. Trust the unseen. Trust the process. Trust that what is complete within will inevitably appear without. Your only responsibility is to sustain the inner reality, to keep believing, imagining, and feeling as if it is already done. As the manifestation draws near, you may find that your desires begin to simplify. Complexity dissolves. Confusion lifts. You no longer need to strategize or plan excessively. The universe begins to provide the means, the opportunities, the people, and the resources necessary for fulfillment. What once required struggle now arrives with ease. What once felt far away now moves naturally into your experience. The manifestation is no longer an event, it is a natural extension of your consciousness. Even the language you use may shift. Words of doubt, fear, or lack fall away. Words of certainty, gratitude, and abundance rise. You begin speaking as if your desire is already present. You begin affirming a reality that exists internally. And when your speech, your thoughts, and your feelings are consistent with the reality of your desire, the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Manifestation is not persuasion, it is alignment. The world bends to what you already embody. The signs that your manifestation is approaching are everywhere, though subtle. You notice repeated numbers, messages, coincidences, or opportunities that seem too perfectly timed to be accidental. You may feel a sense of exhilaration without reason. You may feel your heart expand with gratitude simply at the thought of your desire. You may find yourself smiling, laughing, or feeling a deep inner calm for no external reason. These are all signals that the unseen is responding to the vibration you are holding. They are proof that the physical reality you seek is on the horizon. You may find yourself letting go of old attachments. People, places, beliefs, or habits that once anchored you in limitation begin to feel irrelevant. This is not loss, it is liberation. As your inner state expands to receive what you have imagined, the outer world shifts to accommodate this expansion. Everything that does not belong to your desired reality naturally falls away, making space for the new. The process is precise, intelligent, and effortless for those who trust it. If you have felt recently an increase in synchronicities, intuition, emotional clarity, energy, or subtle knowing, recognize it as evidence. Evidence that your manifestation is no longer just a possibility. Evidence that it exists already in consciousness. Evidence that the world is arranging itself to reflect what you have accepted internally. The closer you feel to your desire within, the faster and more seamless its arrival in the external world. It is not about chasing, it is about being. Being the person who already possesses what you desire, who already lives in the reality you are imagining, who already resonates with the vibration of fulfillment. Even challenges, obstacles, and uncertainties that appear are part of this orchestration. They are temporary reflections of the old reality dissolving. They are signals to hold your inner state, to maintain alignment, to trust your knowing. When you persist in feeling as if your desire is already done, these outer disruptions dissolve naturally, often faster than you expect. The universe is precise. It responds to consciousness with perfect timing. The signs you feel internally are confirmations that the manifestation is near, imminent, and inevitable. So if you have felt these subtle shifts, these whispers of knowing, these quiet urgings within, understand this clearly: your manifestation is no longer a distant dream. It is already alive in the unseen. Every thought, every feeling, every pulse of your consciousness has already drawn it near. Your only role now is to remain aligned, to live as the person who already possesses it, to trust the unseen and honor the inner knowing. Do not question the timing, do not doubt the process, and do not chase what is already coming to you. Stand firm in your reality. Feel it, embody it, breathe it, and let it move through you. The universe is waiting, ready to reflect what you already hold inside. Your manifestation is here. Your reality is shifting. Step into it with full awareness, full faith, and unwavering certainty. It is yours, and it cannot miss you.